Open doors, slammed shut. Across Europe, the welcome mat is being rolled back. ID checks between Germany and France, police on platforms, buses stopped, and a continent asking the same question. How did Germany go from Europe's open door to its most efficient checkpoint? The economic engine of Europe, the country that told the world we're schaffen das, we can do this, pulls off one of the fastest immigration reversals in modern history. In 2023, Germany received about 329,000 asylum claims. Cities like Berlin and Munich ran out of space, patience, and political oxygen. By mid-2025, first-time applications were cut roughly in half. Border crossings collapsed. Deportations climbed. According to EuroNews, June 2025 saw fewer than 7,000 new applications, the lowest monthly number since March 2013. This wasn't luck, it was design. A six-pillar system that re-engineered how a democracy can control migration without rewriting its constitution, quitting the EU, or declaring a permanent crisis. Here's Germany's six-pillar playbook, and yes, other countries are already taking notes. Starting October 2023, Germany reinstated systematic border checks, not just with Austria, but across land borders with Czechia, Poland, Switzerland, later extending to France, the Benelux countries, and Denmark. Police could turn people away at trains, roads, and buses. The visual and psychological impact was immediate. Crossing into Germany suddenly required real documentation and real scrutiny. On February 27, 2024, a law rewired removals. Pre-deportation detention extended from 10 to 28 days, fixing a key failure: people vanishing before flights. Authorities got broader search powers for people and accommodations tied to removal, plus entry residence bans for fake documents even after a border refusal. Result: more time, fewer absconders, higher execution of removals. Germany rolled out the Bezahlkarte in late 2023, replacing cash benefits with a payment card in many states. Limits on ATM withdrawals, tighter control of spending, and blocked remittances aim to reduce pull factors and standardize support. Rollout varied by state, a political fight of its own, but where active, officials reported fewer irregular cash flows and tighter oversight. Reclassifying Georgia and Moldova as safe countries accelerated decisions from months to roughly a week for many cases. Georgia's recognition rate hovered near 0.3%, so cases that were almost always rejected stopped clogging the system. The shift signaled a move toward data-driven accelerated triage. 2024 saw a major scale-up. Germany carried out roughly 20,000 deportations, about 25% more than in 2023, plus around 5,800 Dublin transfers, sending applicants back to the first EU state they entered. With Frontex, Germany ran charter flights, even double destination runs, and the combined total of removals, returns, turnbacks, and Dublin transfers reached about 67,500, the highest since 2016. Crackdown wasn't the only message. Germany simultaneously expanded legal routes for workers, focusing on qualifications and experience. The signal: work visas, yes. Asylum system abuse, no. Results speak loudly. From 2023 to mid-2025, first-time asylum applications to Germany fell sharply, with a record low in June 2025. Breakdown by nationality: Syrian applications down about 50%, Afghan down 42%, Turkish down 61%. Fundamental shifts in patterns. And yet, even with new tools, an estimated 32,700 planned deportations still failed in 2024. Around 62% of planned removals didn't happen due to absconding, missing documents, or last-minute legal stays. The lesson: even with tougher rules, execution is hard, and it used to be even harder. Border checks weren't just guards on bridges. Germany mapped smuggling routes, coordinated with neighbors' intel, and digitized checks to keep traffic moving. The Return Improvement Act required federal-state alignment, more detention capacity, streamlined legal steps, and deals with origin countries. The payment card rollout: a patchwork across states, effectively a natural experiment on what limits worked. Yes and no. The tools are replicable. Border checks, detention extensions, safe country lists, benefit cards, scaled removals. Frontex charters are already expanding EU-wide, but Germany's administrative capacity, central location, and sustained political will are hard to clone, and rights constraints matter. Courts are already probing data extraction, search powers, and proportionality. EU-wide applications fell in 2024, about 11% year over year, with big declines on the Western Balkans route and fewer crossings in the Eastern Med. So how much was Germany, and how much was the broader trend? Germany's drop was steeper and varied by nationality. In 2024, recognition rates were roughly 90% for Syrians, 63% for Afghans, and 17% for Turks, and applications fell at different rates across those groups. That suggests national policy amplified the broader EU trend rather than just riding it. The biggest question now is endurance. In democracies, policy swings. Enforcement, then empathy, then back again. Deportations depend on origin countries taking people back. Border checks rely on neighbors. The EU's migration pact, slated to phase in by 2026, borrows heavily from Germany's faster processing and border procedures. But as Germany tightens, there's a risk of pushing pressure onto neighbors, stoking friction over solidarity and burden sharing. You asked, what about Bulgaria? Different country, different role, but a crucial piece of Europe's external border. Think of Bulgaria as Fortress East, where the strategy starts at the fence, not the courthouse. The fence plus tech. Along most of the roughly 260-kilometer border with Turkey, Bulgaria built a physical barrier with patrol roads, cameras, thermal imaging, and drones. 24/7 surveillance shifted the game from reactive to preventive. Frontex plus neighbors, joint patrols, and EU-funded deployments boosted manpower and hardware. Coordination with Greece and Romania targeted smuggling corridors and secondary movements. Hard border deterrence. Reports and NGO investigations allege pushbacks and summary returns at the green border. Officials say they're preventing illegal crossings. Critics warn of legal red lines. This is where effectiveness and human rights collide. Smuggler crackdown. High-profile raids, tougher penalties, and anti-corruption sweeps within border forces. The goal, raise costs for smuggling networks and close insider leaks. Faster triage, more use of accelerated procedures for manifestly unfounded claims and safe third country concepts at the external border, coupled with expanded pre-removal detention. EU cash and the Schengen carrot. Significant EU funding upgraded the border. Partial entry into Schengen, air, sea, increased pressure and incentives to keep the land border tight. Did Bulgaria solve the crisis? It depends on your metric. Official claims point to large numbers of prevented crossings and disrupted smuggling rings. But the trade-off is intense. Allegations of pushbacks, court challenges, and civil society concerns. Bulgaria hardened the external frontier. Germany rewired the internal system. Together, they sketched the two ends of Europe's new migration toolkit. 5 lessons. Integration beats silver bullets. Borders, benefits, deportations, diplomacy, synchronized. Capacity is king. Laws mean little without institutions to enforce them. Timing matters. Good policy can amplify favorable trends. Sustainability wins. The real test is endurance through elections and legal scrutiny. Rights guardrails. Enforcement must hold within democratic and humanitarian bounds. Germany's model is a blueprint, not a mirror. You can copy the tools. Matching the coordination, timing, and political will. That's the hard part. And if this helped you see the big picture, hit like, subscribe to Nixad Immigration, and share this with someone who still thinks Europe can't change its migration policy.